So the premium version of the mod map Vintal is now available, and in this here video we're going to talk about the difference between the premium version and the free version. So to get started, let's go over the landmass. The free version and the premium version landmass are identical. Nothing has changed here. It's exactly the same, and I guess so much so it sounds like originally they were talking about maybe having an official server for this map, but according to the developer in his Discord, he was saying that it looks like Wildcard wants to have a bigger difference between the premium version and the free version in terms of like the landmass of the map. They want to see like some new biomes or something like that, right? And according to the developer of the map, he was thinking about throwing around some different ideas of what he might add, so that could change. Right now both maps are identical, but in the future you may have some additional content coming to the maps in order to get that official server, but it's not set in stone, so I wouldn't really bank on that as of now. The main thing that is different is the end game. In the free version, you do not have any world bosses. You can go to the obelisk and you can see that they're actually going to show up if you open up the obelisk's terminal, but you can't start the boss fights. Even if you go into creative mode, nothing's going to happen. On the premium version, he's added the bosses from the island. So you got the dragon, the broodmother, and the megapithecus. And instead of having artifact caves, you actually have a dungeon system that he's put on here. It's pretty cool. You're going to go to the middle of the map here, and you're going to go into this building where there is a teleporter, and you're going to teleport into like this main dungeon. And in this main dungeon, you've got 3 more teleporters, one for each corresponding boss. So in this video here, I went to the broodmother, full of all your classic creatures that you would expect to go up against in a typical cave for artifacts or something like that. You got bats and arthropluera and all that good stuff. I didn't find it incredibly hard. I found it about the same difficulty as, say, one of the caves on Scorched Earth. Seemed to be somewhere around there for now. And then as you go through here, you will see there's a couple of drops. There's some loot crate drops in here, and the last one, when you dismount to go and check it, that is going to summon in a mini boss. There are 3 mini bosses now on the map, and it corresponds with whatever teleporter you went to for your bosses. I'm in the broodmother, and so the broodmother mini boss spawns in. And again, it's not incredibly difficult. If you have a mount strong enough to go through the dungeon in the first place, you should be okay. They don't do anything crazy. They don't dismount you or do any kind of AoE damage or nothing like that. So it's pretty easy to beat them. And then you're going to instantly get the artifacts for that boss, all of the artifacts for that particular boss in your inventory as soon as you kill that mini boss. So it makes getting artifacts a lot quicker and a lot easier, to be honest. There's no exploring caves, there's no getting lost. It's really simple to go through these dungeons. They're not super confusing and which way to go. It's actually pretty easy, and it's actually pretty easy to do a loot run through here for some of the loot crates. One of the things I did find that seems to be bugged about this is I went to the megapithecus directly after the broodmother, and I found it completely empty. There was no enemies that respawned in here, so I don't know if they're using the same dungeon for all of these different fights, but there was absolutely no enemies in the megapithecus. It could be a single player issue, I really have no idea, but the mini boss did spawn in, so I was still able to get the artifacts. And the megapithecus, of course, has like a gorilla mini boss, and then the dragon has what looks like almost like a techie looking drakeling. Pretty cool. But another bug, the draglin, the little dragon mini boss, I was able to just one shot, as you can see. So yeah, I'm sure it'll get polished out. The developer here is like really responsive, really on top of things. He's actually seems to be a pretty good developer for these mods. Other than that, which is definitely the biggest difference between the free version and the premium version, the other differences are gonna be the weather. Seems to be a bit more polished out. This map has weather events that are similar to Scorched Earth. You got heat waves. I think you have like cold waves. The cold biome, the snow biome in this map gets down to like -100°C. super, super cold. And I think they have like cold storms where it drops lower than your typical temperature. And then you have your heat waves like scorched earth, and you have your electrical storms, but they don't seem to be like overwhelmingly annoying in the premium version. The free version, they're a little bit more frequent. It kind of reminds me of when Scorched Earth first came out. The storms were a little bit like back to back. It's not that. As of now, for the free version, the DLC creatures go up to Ragnarok. So you do have griffins, you have all the stuff that came with the new maps up until Ragnarok. You don't have the creatures for Valgero. Those are on the premium version only. And then all of the new creatures that are going to be added to the game with any future maps, those will not be added to the free map, but most of them, not all of them. The developer said he's not going to add like every single DLC creature to the map, but it will be most of them. Those will only be added to the premium map. So there's that. In terms of the overall map, as you can see from these videos, the map is filled with resources. Every resource that you can need is on this map in crazy levels, including element. So you will need the premium version to do this, but you can go into the dungeons, and while you're in there, you'll see these crystals. Harvest these crystals with an Anki. I did it with a Stegi Milan, as you can see. And if you know anything about this creature, it's a modded creature. It harvests a little less efficiently than an Anki. So it's kind of like beginner harvester. It's not as good as an Anki, but even with this thing, it's not as good as an Anki on default single player rates. I had to double check because I was getting so much element. I harvested in like 10 minutes. I got like 2,000 element. Crazy amounts of element shards, and element dust is what you're going to get out of here. Absolutely insane. And that's pretty much the theme of the map. Every single resource is everywhere. When you first start out on a beach, you're going to have silica pearls all around you. You know, if you just run up and down the beach, you'll find silica pearls, tons of them. You'll find dead basilisks and dolphins that you can get, spoiled meat. Black pearls are down here in this little corner snow area, and they're just out in the open on top of these little white snow cliffs. They're just everywhere. If you go down into the aberration zone down through here, it's the same thing with all the different crystals. Blue crystals, they're green crystals, they're everywhere. So it's really, really a map that is filled with resources. In terms of like, is it worth, you know, the $5? I think for sure it is, simply because I personally like the map. This is just going to be personal preference, but take a look at the videos and see if you think it's something that you would like to play, or if you like that type of grindy map where you got to really, really struggle for all of your resources. This probably is not going to be the map for you at all. This is definitely a map for somebody who likes a little bit faster progression, or it's a map that you could add to your cluster, or just have it in your single player so that you could go there, harvest tons of resources, put them in your terminal, and ship them back to your main base, whatever map you have it on. It's definitely like a resource map. You know what I mean? It's for sure not the type of map that makes you work for your resources. And the same thing goes for like all of the different tames. If you're looking to build like boss armies, or like improve your line of Rexes or Gigas or Karkas or something like that, this map is full of those as well. I know most maps have like a limit on how many Gigas, for example, there are. You know, like the island, I think there can only be 2 on the map at one time. And I don't know what the limit is on this map, but you fly over the whole thing and you will see Gigas kind of everywhere. Like, I've seen like 4 or 5 Gigas at a time, 4 or 5 Karkas at a time, it seems like. So if you're looking for some of those apex predators, they're all over. Managarmas are all over. Pyromanes are all over the lava area. It's full of wyverns in the wyvern trench. There's an ice wyvern trench. So it's really a lot of extremes here. You have an extreme amount of resources, and you got an extreme amount of dangerous dinos to kill you. I would not recommend this map for like a no-flyer playthrough, because the landscape is really vertical. There's a lot of cliffed out areas where, unless you have a Thyla and you just like to climb constantly, or maybe if you got a Procroptodon, it wouldn't be so bad, but it's still going to be kind of annoying trying to get around, because most of the biomes are on ledges. like a lot of cliffed, vertical walled, cliffed out ledges. The center of the map, there's kind of like a strip that goes through the center. That part's pretty easy to navigate with a ground mount, but like the rest of it is really bad. Both snow biomes are just ledged out. The redwoods, one section of it is full of ledges. The lava area is full of ledges. It's just not going to be enjoyable, in my opinion, to use a ground mount all over the place. So that's pretty much the differences between the two maps. I do think the map is worth $5 for sure. I mean, honestly, the developer is just a really, really awesome developer in terms of his response to his community. He also makes how-to videos on how to make maps. So he's just the kind of developer that you kind of want to support and see succeed. He seems to be very open to negative feedback and he takes it to heart. I think there was originally a price of $10 put out there by Curse Forge of maybe the cost of the map, and I think most people gave feedback that it'd probably be better at 5, and the map's 5. So I think he is the kind of developer that you just want to support in general, and the map is definitely built well. I didn't get any kind of crashing or anything. I put a bunch of mods on this map when I was just playing through it. I'm in the middle of doing a playthrough on it, and I've not experienced a single crash. All my mods work. All the creatures that are modded creatures, they spawn without any problems, and so I just haven't had any issues. I think I would say like the biggest issue that I've kind of experienced is in the aberration zone. The skylighting is really obnoxiously bright, and the overall atmosphere in the aberration zone is very dark. So you have to gamma up just to be able to see. But then when you come across the skylights, like anything that's glowing, it's kind of blinding. So the aberration zone definitely needs a little bit of adjusting on the lighting. But the aberration zone itself down there is really cool, to be honest. Like, I really liked it. You could easily live down there permanently and just do like an aberration style playthrough. It's really cool down there. It's pretty good size. And yeah, other than that, it's a great map, I think. I'm going to continue to play on it until I beat the bosses. And then I'll probably keep doing some updates on this map as the developer updates it. I know he said that it's about 80 or 90% complete, and he's waiting. Most of the parts that are incomplete, he says, are in the ocean, but he's waiting for Gen 1 to release before he has the assets and the dev kit to be able to finish the ocean part of the map. And once he does, I'll definitely do another video explaining everything that's finished with it.